The Nissan NX is a brilliant little car. A buzzing, coveted 2-liter SR20 engine, handling that's genuinely comparable to the finest sports cars of its time, and a Targa top providing a breeze of wind in your hair during hot summer nights, and a perfectly usable coupe during winter. So by all accounts, the NX should be just like Tommy Cash, the people's favorite, fondly remembered alongside its 90s Japanese coupe peers. But that simply isn't the case. The SR20 NX has been forgotten, and those who do know of it brush it off as another blobby eco-box of its era, hiding the fact that it continues to be a brilliant little car.
Well, that's not what this is. Because this is a Nissan 100 NX 1.6, no SR20 engine inside. This one's got the GA16, producing a mighty 101 horsepower. No Targa top either, this one's just got a steel roof. And instead of the world-class leading suspension setup of the 2-liter version, the 1.6 just has the suspension from a Nissan Sunny. With that, everything that I just said translates to one very simple fact. This is the worst version of the greatest car in the world.
What makes a car great? Is it defined purely by objective characteristics, speed, fuel economy, list of features, how many liters of stuff the boot can hold? Or are we allowed to bring emotions into play here? Well, of course we can. A good car has to make you feel good as well, be it by handling like a dream, being immensely reliable, or by just having that undefinable heart in it.
Well, whatever you may throw at the NX, it'll catch it like Johnny Bench. That is a sports reference that I myself do not understand, but I've been told that it was a very good catcher, so that's a good thing.
This little Nissan is seriously underrated, even in its worst guise.
This specific 100 NX is an SLX, which means electric windows, electrically adjustable seats, cruise control, anti-lock brakes, a driver's side airbag, a passenger side airbag, traction control, central locking, automatic wipers, air conditioning, heated seats, and cup holders. This is a list of optional extras that are not on this car. When it was new, it didn't even come with a radio. It's got a clock though, a digital one.
But you know those Japanese engineers well. Even if they don't give you air conditioning, they'll give you an alternative. On this car, you've got these handles on the doors. Now, what happens when you turn them is that
another thing it doesn't have is any safety equipment whatsoever. No airbags, no ABS, nothing. Good. I would rather be dead than in this crumpled up mess.
as for ride comfort, yeah, it's comfortable. And look, even me, a person who has the McDonald's app on my phone on the home screen, can fit perfectly in what is still a very low, very small car.
Except that it somehow isn't. Just look at this cavernous trunk. A small child could get lost in here. Also, I slept in here one time.
This is a 1993 model. Thank God. In 93, they upgraded the 1.6 from a carburetor to state-of-the-art fuel injection. To show you the benefits of that improvement, let's do a quick run from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, let's go! And that's 104 seconds flat. I was not expecting that.
While it may lack power in comparison to modern sports coupes, it also lacks weight, coming in at a little over a ton. Combine this with a tight gear shift and the end result ends up being a very nimble and perky driving experience. Not only does it feel faster than it is, it's also like an incredibly eager small puppy bouncing around with enthusiasm. It just does what you ask when you ask, darts into corners with eagerness and brakes with a very communicative brake pedal. Nothing about it is sophisticated. On the contrary, it's all very simple, very mechanical, very charming, very nice. Not to mention, it achieves all of that while being very efficient. This 32-year-old basic petrol engine regularly returns around 40 to 45 mpg.
If you've seen an NX, then you already know what the main point of criticism of it is. This. Well, that's incredibly unjust. First of all, it looks great. And second of all, let's go back to 1990 for a moment. Remember what cars used to look like back then? We think of the 90s as the period where cars got round and blobby, but that wasn't the case yet when the Nissan NX entered our world. When this came along, nobody had ever seen anything like it before. Just look at this headlight shape. It's an oval. This car practically invented the shape. And just overall looking at it, there isn't a single straight line on it. When we think of 90s car design, this is the car to thank for it. Don't believe me that this car is influential? Have a look at this rear end. Now take a look at a 93 Chevy Camaro. I rest my case. And automakers to this day are copying this 35-year-old car. Have you seen the bonnet creases on the brand new Audi A6? I have. On here.
Let me paint you a little picture. Before I bought this car around 2020, it had been in use for 15 years as a mode of transportation to get from point A to point B. It got its oil changed from time to time, and that's about it. This was not a car that was babied or meticulously taken care of.
So with that, here's a list of all the problems that this fully original powertrain has experienced over the past 5 years. It's been an absolute dream. This is an extremely durable powertrain. Sure, it isn't as easy to modify as the SR20, but I don't want to modify this. So with that, let's have...
On the 25th of November 1993, a woman by the name of Ulla bought herself a new car from their local Nissan dealer in Dawson, Autohaus Emki. She bought a blue 100 NX SR and drove that baby around the streets of Germany for about 12 years, at which point it was imported to Estonia, where it was acquired by another dame. Its life in its new country, as is for any old Japanese car, is rough. Estonian winters eat away at the car year after year until it becomes disposable. In use until it won't pass its yearly inspection, and that's all. At one point, rust making its way through the side sills is repaired with clear tape. It also got some modifications for better handling. This is real. This is where our current story begins, because this NX was owned by a relative of mine. Instead of just waiting for the moment it becomes scrap metal, we bought it for a grand total of 50 euros and set about giving it a new lease on life. It wasn't a quick process, it wasn't a cheap process, and I wasn't behind this bit. This was done by a professional shop. And you can tell they did a great job because there isn't a piece of clear plastic inside anymore.
And after all that, a 100 NX was saved. This is now just one of 6 NXs on Estonian roads. However, there's still one humongous elephant in the room. It doesn't have any fog lights. It has a switch inside for the fog lights, but it doesn't actually have any fog lights. If you can hook me up with some fog lights, then please contact me yesterday. Could it be possible that I like this car just because it's mine?
This program was made possible by contributions to Corsicar from members like you. Thank you Moby Phoenix, Amir, Christian, Astina, Urethra Gapper 54, Jesus, Kostaku, Rais, Rare Music Spam, Bruh McGigi, MV Pelt, Silco Silva, Mehmet M, Momichiro, Your Average Beam Dude, Spray, Derbora, Tamer, Steven, Grace Lynn, Farbad, The Hard Yards, Bricked Media, San, Nero, Onur, Angle of Attack, Mike G, Kenneth L, Dustin Farted, Taha, Unknown Car Archive, Julian, Gökhan, Tyler Dixon, Sylvan Link, Alex Trush 2K, Ippi Kranvites, Mauro, Arvind, Liquefied Pizzas, Jakub, Maulana, Mateo, Scott, Clay Chen, Secret Tunnel, Cuba, CH, Mr. SDB, Aggressive Cinderella, I Am Ian, Benjamin, Wisnu Widodo, Clutchco's Clutch, Everyone, Maddie 160p, Johannes, and The Critseek.